Peace and blessings, everyone. I'm a little bit perturbed right now. Actually, I've calmed down just a bit, and I guess you could say God wanted me to. I just came from walking my two younger sons to school, and saw some things on my mind I was getting upset about, and I was gonna come in here and make this video. But then my neighbor across the street, there's a senior couple that lives across the street, and the husband was outside. He was trying to take in some Halloween props from yesterday and whatnot, so I helped him out, which of course had to made me change my demeanor, so it calmed me down. So I came in here and I sat down and I thought about if I was gonna make the video. But I just started thinking over stuff. It just started getting me worked up again. I'm perturbed, close to being pissed off to the highest pisstivity. And what started it, well, I guess a lot of things started it. But as I mentioned, I was walking my sons to school today, and some of you might be aware that is actually homeschooling. So they're saying, well, I thought you was homeschooling, so why are you walking your sons to school? Well, something took place a couple weeks ago that I didn't discuss and make a video to. And I'm not sure why. I didn't think about it. But, I've been keeping up to date with what's been going on, in my life with the legal matters and everything from me and my son getting into it last May. Well, like 2 weeks ago, we got a new social worker, all right? And so she came to the house to meet with me, just to meet with me, and discuss everything that's going on. So she comes to here to my home. I'm still not at home. I'm still staying with some friends, all right? But I was coming here, for homeschooling and whatnot. So she comes here and meets me, and we're sitting there talking, and she's going through everything, blah 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 blah. Things ain't done correctly, half-ass done. Stuff ain't been explained to me, to my wife, blah 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 blah. Well, long story made short, I am not. I'm only supposed to be around my children still for I guess a minimum amount of time. All right. Originally, when everything first happened, Children's Services made my wife put a restraining order on me. They made her do it. It was either you do it or we're taking all the kids out the house thing. All right. So that lasted temporarily. That was like a 30-day thing. So after that, it was dropped. They never made her bring up again. So as far as we knew, I was allowed to be around my kids because they said the visitations weren't going to be supervised, whatnot, things of that nature. So, like I said, as far as we knew, I could be around them anytime. They just didn't want me around my oldest son because it was an incident between me and him that caused all this to happen. So, like I said, she comes, and like I said, kind of find out I'm still not supposed to really be around them that much. So, right then, right there, she made me call my wife to come home from work and take them right then, right there, up to the school to register them for school. That very moment, right? And what, school started at the end of August, so it's been some time. So they're back in public school. Like I said, they've been going on 2 weeks now, back in school. All right, so that was that. I was initially, of course, upset. But always trying to stay in the truth. Stay focused on the truth. Truth is, okay, they have to go back, and there's nothing really I can do about it. Not really. So I just have to deal with it and move forward, and eventually after all this passed, then I can go back to homeschool. Right. And, and my thing with the public school system, the fact is, and I mean, they don't care. When it comes down to it, just like everything else, they don't truly care about your child. They can't, because it costs too much money to care. I mean, it don't. Nowadays, it's all about getting the money. They get paid for school enrollment, for kids being there every day. They get a certain amount of money, and then it comes down to the testing. If they score so much on the test, they can get money. It's all about money. They show them money, so they always ask some parents to send in supplies or whatnot, provide this, provide that, and then they forever taking off days for teacher development days. I mean, they have a day off tomorrow, Friday. They don't have to go to school for teacher development day. That day that my wife had to go up and register on was a Thursday, and they were out of school that Friday for teacher development day. And it's like, what is going on? And I know there's something else. I heard some crazy stuff about some school system. There's what it was? It's called block. I think blocks or something. What it is? They take. There's like 6 periods. Well, they do is they take 3 on one day take 3 classes for 2 hours each, and then the other 3 the next day for 2 hours each. And it's supposed to help in something, class sizes or whatever. But of course that comes down to having money to build bigger schools and make room and whatnot. But it's like, huh? So they sit in these classes forever, especially who was it? Was it my daughter or my niece? One of them has, their whole block is filled with classes that they can't stand. So they whole day is filled with classes they can't stand to be in. They have to be in there for 2 hours at a time. So, like I said, it's ridiculous. So when it comes down to it, they don't really care. And so what really got me started is, every week they come home with this what's called a Wednesday envelope, and it has their papers in it and things that need to be passed out, like things about sports or whatnot, and school activities. And like I said, so you get the graded papers for week 2. So the middle son, my 10-year-old, who's in 5th grade, he has some papers, and he has some very low grades on a couple of them. And I'm not upset that he got the low grades. It's just that I feel that we shouldn't be a child should not be allowed to fail. What I mean by that, everybody learns differently. So we need to find out how a specific child learns and hone in on that. But of course it can't be done in our current school system because we can't afford it, because we don't have time to give a child one-on-one because we got a teacher with 30-some kids. Well, I'm sure there is a standard way that there's a way you can group kids. I mean, I'm sure everybody, because usually you're a visual learner or auditory learner, things like that. So if you start grouping kids like that, and then maybe there's a subgroup of that, and you start breaking them down into get them in an area where they best learn, and then you concentrate on that, you focus on that, and you gear the work around that, instead of putting everybody who's different in one big old class and saying this is the standard way and you better learn this way. And if you don't, we'll give you a little bit of help. We'll maybe sit you aside a little bit, give you a little bit of extra tutor, maybe just a little bit of something. But hey, if you don't, oh well, you're gonna fall behind, you're gonna fail, and we'll see you next year, and hopefully you'll get it next year. And then of course when they get to high school, they really don't carry it in. If you fail, they just keep pushing you through to get you up out of high school, and that's just so ridiculous to me. Well, anyway, so he's, like I said, so I was upset about that. And then another thing about school is it's just so much that is so unnecessary. I mean, how much is it that you learn of that you're gonna really need in life when you become an adult? something he's working on now, and I didn't even hear about this stuff when I was in school. What is it? What's that paper? What do I do with it? What is it called? This isn't even it. I think I threw that paper away. I think I threw it away. It's something new that my wife brought to my attention last week. It's called. Dang, I want to get the paper now. Hold on, I want to look at this paper. Okay, it's called A positives. Positives. A positive. See that? I'm thinking A positive, B positive, blood, something. But you know what? It's linking. And A positive is a noun or pronoun that appears beside another noun or pronoun and serves to explain or identify it. An A positive phrase is an A positive plus all its modifiers. One student, comma, Jacob, comma, got 60 signatures on a petition. And so, complete sentence below with an A positive makes sense. So the A positive is the one student and Jacob is relating, and it's like, huh? I didn't learn this in school. Is that necessary to know the name A positive and all that? As long as I can read, write, and comprehend, one student, Jacob, old dude Jacob, got 6 signatures on petition. That's all necessary. So they getting all this other stuff. Is that gonna help him when he becomes a orthopedic surgeon? Is gonna help him when he's working in construction, and when he's a in law enforcement? No. If he can write, then that's all that matters. And so they get all this stuff and say, take this and remember it. And if you don't get it, then we're gonna hold you back. It's like, I mean, how much stuff do you remember from elementary school, from middle school, from high school, hell, from college? I mean, how much is necessary in your execution of your job? You know, so if it's not necessary, hell, even knowing Christopher Columbus ain't necessary to me nowadays. What? Knowing Christopher Columbus and what he did is not helping me in my job, unless I'm a history professor or something like that. So let's cut out the non-necessary stuff and let's focus on what necessary is. And really, more importantly, it's not going to help my child be a better person. It's not going to help my child be more compassionate towards people. It's not going to help my child to be more aware of his existence and doing the best he can to appreciate the world around him and his being here. It doesn't do that. Alright? Hell, we got plenty of smart people and all that stuff who's running this country, who's about to blow us up. So for what? To focus on what's necessary, truly necessary, and then focus on their skills. My son is a very good piano player, and I just recently learned he's very good at drawing. He can draw things that he sees. So focus on that. If a child has a talent, then let's hone in on it. Let's focus in on it, so that they can nurture it and grow it, and it's probably something they'll want to do when they're adults, because it's easier and it's funner when you can do something that you're good at, that you love doing in your life, other than, oh shoot, I can't do it, I need to go get a job down the street because I need to make some money. I mean, that just makes people so miserable in their life. I don't know, but of course I'm talking to people who are miserable anyway. You going to your job mad every day anyway, so whatever. And so it's that, and then just freaking tired. I was tired of this same old nonsense going on around here. You know, and I've said it once, said it twice, 7 million times. You know, I don't know even why I discuss it, because the truth speaks for itself. You know, but sometimes you just get fed up, because you're like, people, huh? It's like, wake up. I mean, really. I mean, between the politicians and they nonsense, it's like, I'm gonna say you accept the same old things every day. You're gonna go vote for one of these people, and I don't know what's gonna go on with this election coming up. Now I'm about to skip to a totally different subject, and I'm gonna end up going back to my kids. But I'm interested in what's going to happen. You have Hillary and Obama on the Democratic side. You have a woman and a black. Both who have never had an office. And those are our choices on one side, the Democrats. The other side is Republicans, who we've been dealing with for for the last 2 administrations, and they're the ones that seem to be getting into trouble with this war and everything. So how's everything gonna work out? It's gonna be split between Hillary and Obama. They're gonna knock each other off, and it seems like it's being set up that it's gonna keep a Republican in there. So I don't know. It's just funny to me. But even still, then you have you have a woman and a black, but they're still politicians. They're still playing the same game as every other politician before them, and so you're going to vote somebody in for the same old, the same situation. It's still going to be the same situation because they're still going to do the same thing as everybody before them. You realize they're only offering you the same thing as everybody before them. So everything's going to be the same. It's going to still be talking about going to war, still talking about World War III with Iran. I mean, you're voting in the same thing, the same people who have the same state of mind, that's caught up in the same process, the same system, who abide by it and who are going through it, and you're gonna vote them in. So, but anyway, but going back to my kids, another thing, my kids, I'm so upset that I got these people telling me how it is I'm supposed to raise my child, and I'm supposed to listen to you. I mean, I'm supposed to listen to these people who are in charge right here, and you look at the state of this world, this country. I'm supposed to listen to you on how it is I'm supposed to raise my child. I'm supposed to believe you, and you got things right here so fucked up, but I'm supposed to listen to you. It's so ridiculous, and it seems like the way. So I have this book I'm reading, that my I don't know what to call her, my counselor, because of course they got me going to counseling because of this. Who she asked me if I'd be willing to read some books, to become a better parent, because I admit that I can always get better. There's plenty of stuff I can learn, and in any and everything we can always learn. No matter how old we are, we can always learn. So as a parent, I'm sure there are things I can learn and become a better parent. But in reading these books, of course, you have to take it with a grain of salt, because some of the stuff you read, you're like, huh? And it's, let's see, basically it's about, don't tell your, paraphrase, don't tell your child what to do, don't command them, just ask them things to do, and put them more on them and for them to learn the consequences of not doing something. So for instance, don't fight with them about going to bed at a certain time. Just say, well, you should, because you're going to be tired in the morning. If you don't, then, hey, you're going to be tired of school and whatnot. And they're saying basically they'll learn a lesson. Excuse me. So when they stay up to 1 o'clock in the morning, they have to get up at 6, 7, and they're struggling through the day. Well, then they'll learn themselves to go to bed early. So don't get in a fight with them. All right. And in a way, I can see about making them learn the consequences of the action, but at the same time, you got to put down rules and regulations, and you got to stick to them, right? I mean, when it comes to a household, of parents and child, this is a dictatorship, plain and simple. There's no democracy here. I mean, hell, we don't even live in democracy anyway. It's not a republic here. It's a dictatorship. What the fuck I say goes, plain and simple, right? But they're like, hey, and so, and it's all about doing things not so nice, not to be getting into any physical altercation with a child. So now it's not to whip your child, but it's not realistic to me. For one, if your child decides they're not gonna do something, they're not gonna do it. And so if you say, well, you do it, you have to get to a point where you just ignore the things they do, well then your child's gonna run amok, all right? Because they know that you're not gonna do anything to them. So they're gonna have some control. Now it's something, it might work for some kids, but everybody's different. So if that system doesn't work for some kids just need to be smacked, plain and simple. So I see it as a way of putting in some more tools. I can take that from it. I can use those as some more tools to add to my parenting skills, some more layers to add in before I have to whip your ass. That's how I see it. To me, it's necessary, and also at the same time, it's making them aware of the reality of when they get in this world. A boss is not going to ask you to do nothing. A boss will ask, but in essence, a boss is telling you what to do. If you don't do it, you're going to get fired. If you don't do it right then and there, and then that's another thing. They say don't harp on having things done right then and there, just as long as it's done eventually. But if your boss tells you to do something right then and right there, then you better do it, or else you're going to get fired. If a police officer tells you to do something, then you better do it, or else you're going to, or my police officer might ask you, please get out of the car. But in essence, they're not really asking you. They're telling you, but they're just saying it a different way. They're asking you to get out of the car so they don't have to take a baton to your ass, that they don't have to take a taser to you, or because they don't want to take a bullet to your head. And so that's the reality we're going through. When it comes to dealing with people in position of authority, you're going to have to listen, plain and simple. Or you have to deal with the consequences and repercussions. And in different situations, it's different. Like I said, dealing with a police officer, if you don't do what it said, then it's going to become physical. Alright? And so, why do I have more rights with my child than I do? If my 17-year-old son was out there dealing with a police officer, and he didn't do what they said, then they would get physical with him. They would get a physical altercation. But I'm not supposed to do it, and this is my child. This is my child. But hey, I can't do it. I'm not supposed to do it. What is that exactly? What is that? It's bullshit. That's what it is to me. So, I'm about to eat up all the space on my computer. I'm gonna be done my ranting and raving, and I'm feeling a bit better. I just need to get off my back. All right. God bless everybody. Peace and love.